teaching, and you are his student. The thoughts we think, the feelings we feel, even the deeds we do in boyhood can affect our lives forever. When I was a deacon, I loved baseball. In fact, I still do. I had a fielder's glove inscribed with the name Mel Ott. He was the premier player of my day. My friends and I would play ball in a small alleyway behind the houses where we lived. Our playing field was cramped, but all you had to do was hit straight away to center field. However, if you hit the ball to the right of center, disaster was at the door. Here lived Mrs. Shyness, who from her kitchen window would watch us play. And as soon as the ball rolled to her porch, her large dog would retrieve the ball and present it to her as she opened the door. Into her house, Mrs. Shyness would return and add the ball to the many she had previously confiscated. She was our nemesis, the destroyer of our fun, even the bane of our existence. None of us had a good word for Mrs. Shyness, but we had plenty of bad words for her. None of us would speak to her, and she never spoke to us. She was hampered by a stiff leg, which was impaired, and it made her situation difficult to walk and must have caused her great pain. She and her husband had no children. They lived secluded lives and rarely came out of their house. This private war continued for some time, perhaps 2 years, and then an inspired thaw melted the ice of winter and brought a springtime of good feelings to the stalemate. One evening, as I performed my daily task of watering our front lawn, holding the nozzle in the hand, as was the style in that time, I noticed that Mrs. Shyness's lawn was dry, beginning to turn brown. I honestly don't know, brethren, what came over me. But I took a few more minutes, maybe 45, and with our hose, watered her lawn. I continued to do it throughout the summer. And then when autumn came, I hosed her lawn free of leaves, as I did ours, and stacked the leaves in piles at the street's edge. The entire summer, I had not seen Mrs. Shyness. We boys had long since given up playing ball in the alleyway. We'd run out of baseballs, and we had no money to buy more. Early one evening, Mrs. Shyness's front door opened, and she beckoned for me to jump the small fence and come to her front porch. This I did. As I approached her, she invited me into her living room, where I was asked to sit in a comfortable chair. She treated me to cookies and milk. Then she went to the kitchen and returned with a large box filled with baseballs and softballs, representing several seasons of her confiscation efforts. The filled box was presented to me. The treasure, however, was not to be found in the gift, but rather in her words. I saw for the first time a smile come across the face of Mrs. Shyness, and she said, "Tommy, I want you to have these baseballs, and I want to thank you for being kind to me." I expressed my own gratitude to her and walked from her home a better boy than when I entered. No longer were we enemies. Now we were friends. The golden rule had again succeeded.